A very good morning to all the students of class 7. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today, from your English book Skyline, we will start reading chapter number 1. So, this chapter is a poem, and this poem is about our own country, about our own nation. And this poem was written by D.A. Tressler, and the poet is expressing his happiness of being born in this beautiful country called India. So let us start reading this chapter. So as I told you, this is chapter number 1, which is a poem. And what is the title of the poem? It is India, My India, the land of my dreams. So let us see what the poet has to say about this, about our country, India. On the eve of independence, reflective I sit, gazing on the summer sky, dark but starlit. The sky that stares down on my country, enchanting, steeped in culture and tradition, endowed with beauty intrinsic. So in the very first stanza, is the poet is sitting on which day? On the eve of independence, that is 15th August. And the poet says, reflective I sit. So reflective here means, thinking about a particular topic. So the poet is saying that I'm sitting, it's the evening of 15th August, and I'm looking at the sky, at the summer sky. I'm looking at, and I'm somewhere thinking about a few things. Dark but starlit. So what is it that you see on Independence Day from morning till evening? What is it that we see in the sky? The kites. So that is a form of expressing freedom. So this poet is sitting and looking at the sky, which is full of kites. And what is the poet thinking? The poet says, the sky that stares down on my country, enchanting. Enchanting means very beautiful, very attractive. Steeped in culture and tradition means filled with diverse culture and tradition, endowed with beauty entrancing. So the poet is saying that the sky is looking at my country, and what is it that my country has? It has diverse culture, diverse tradition, which is very beautiful in totality, and it is something entrancing means something which has the quality to attract someone. So the poet is saying that even nature is very fond of my country because it is very beautiful and it has diverse culture and tradition. I conjure up diverse fascinating scenes of India, my India, the land of my dreams. Her mighty Himalayas, magnificent arise, her rolling plains verdant under azure skies. So the poet is saying, now the poet is talking more about the natural features or the relief features that are there in our country. The poet is saying, I conjure upon. So conjure means, the poet finds it very magical that India has so many diverse or a variety of fascinating scenes. And what are these diverse fascinating scenes that the poet is talking about? He's talking about the Himalayas, which of magnificent arise. That means Himalayas which are really huge, and rolling plains verdant under azure skies. What is the meaning of verdant? It means green. So he's talking about the greenery that our country has, and he's saying that this entire greenery is under the dark blue skies. Azure means bright blue. Her life-giving streams that bubble and dance. Now the poet is talking about rivers. So in this stanza, the poet was talking about the Himalayas or the plains. And what are Himalayas also called as? They're also called as abode to rivers. Abode meaning home. So he's saying, now he's talking about the rivers. Over pebble and boulder as they gurgle and prance. Her forest luxuriant with creeper and vine appear in their glory before these eyes of mine. So now the poet is talking about the rivers. He's talking about the different sounds that the water of the river makes. So the gurgle is referring to the sound. Prance means moving with a high speed. So the poet is saying that, the river water, it makes many different beautiful sounds, and it moves with a lot of speed. And then it says her forest. Now the poet is also talking about the forest. Her forest luxuriant with creeper and vine. Creeper and vine, we all know, are different kind of plants. Luxuriant referring to very rich. Okay. And then the poet says, appear in their glory before these eyes of mine. So the poet is saying that when I think about India, I just not think about Himalayas, I also think about the different rivers and the forests, which are very rich in terms of resources that they give us. The tawny striped tiger, the peacock imperial, the chattering playful monkeys, the elephants regal. I picture them wild, protected yet free, to roam my rock, bush, grassland, and tree. Now the poet is talking about different animals that we see in the forest. So he's talking about, first he's talking about the tiger. Tawny means brown or yellow striped. And then he's saying that I see this I imagine this tiger roaming in the forest. And then the peacock imperial. So we know peacock is also the national bird of India, and imperial refers to royal. So he's saying that we also have this beautiful animal which looks like a royal attribute. And he says that I'm imagining that peacock in the forest and the tiger in the forest. What are the other animals he's picturing? The monkeys, who he's calling very naughty. And then he says there's a vista of beaches with golden sands shining, the pounding surf frothy, sparkling, and glistening, the seas full of life in countless forms, the miles of brave coastlines weathering many a storm. So now the poet is talking about the different beaches. Vista meaning, a lot of different beaches which are there with golden sands shining. So is the color really golden? The sand that is there on the beach, is the color really golden? No, he's talking about the bright sunlight that falls on that sand, giving it a golden color. And then he's describing the water that you see in beaches. So it's like a froth, which is produced. So what happens, when the waves are coming with a lot of speed, there's a froth that is formed. So water, which is it forms that whitish kind of a substance is formed. It's called as froth, and that is also very sparkling. And then he talks about the seas, which are available in countless, in a number of forms, the miles of brave coastline weathering many a storm. So then he's saying that these coastlines, or these seas, they face a lot of storm with a lot of bravery. By rivers so sacred, I dream of Ashoka, a pillar of strength, a monarch of power. I follow the Buddha's path of moderation that preaches a creed gained through prayer and meditation. Then again, he's talking about that how in our country rivers are uh, considered sacred, as pure, as something that we worship. And then he's thinking about very famous Indian personalities, very famous Indian ruler called Ashoka, whom calls as the pillar of strength. And then he's not only saying, so he's talking about strength that a warrior needs to have, like like the Ashoka king. And then he also talks about being moderate, being calm, being compassionate to other human beings. And how is that Indians have learned these qualities, or from whom have we Indians learned these qualities? From Gautam Buddha. Then he says, I remember with pride the Mughal sublime, as I marvel at their monuments, a gift for all time. At the stroke of the midnight hour, my reverie is broken by a wild clamor. So now the poet is talking about the Mughals, and he's saying that when I think about Mughals, it gives me a sense of pride that India had such such sorted out and such amazing rulers India had, and they built these beautiful architecture, the beautiful monuments that were built by the Mughals. So he's think so when he's thinking about those monuments, he's lost in his own thoughts. Reverie is meaning to be lost in your own thoughts. And what is the meaning of the word clamor? It means loud, confused noise. So he's saying that I'm continuously thinking about the beautiful monuments that the Mughals built, and these monuments have added beauty to our country. As they march in array before these privileged orbs, the furious Subhash with his nationalist corps, the humble Mahatma with ideology gentle, the vibrant Nehru with energy indefatigable. Means now he's talking about very famous nationalist leaders. So he's talking about Subhash Chandra Bose, he's talking about Mahatma Gandhi, he's talking about Jawaharlal Nehru, and he's talking about different qualities that all these leaders possessed. So when he says, and they march in array before these privileged orbs, march, so he's thinking about all these three people continuously, one after the other, array meaning in a line. Privileged orbs, so he's saying that my eyes are very privileged to see the work that, or to see how these leaders have shaped our country. And he talks about fiery Subhash. So he's talking about Subhash Chandra Bose, who was absolutely fearless. Humble Mahatma Gandhi with ideology gentle. So he's saying that the ideology or the thought process that Mahatma Gandhi has had, he calls it very gentle. And he's also calling Mahatma Gandhi as a very humble person, a very down to earth person. And then he calls Jawaharlal Nehru very vibrant, means full of energy. Energy is describing his energy. So he says that it seemed that Jawaharlal Nehru, he never got tired. He was so much full of energy. Now the poet goes on to says, the victors they glide past one by one. It seems the stream of warriors will never be done. Often clouds cover these stars so bright, and sometimes dark and dreary appears the long night. So he's again talking about uh, the sacrifices that these nationalist leaders have done for our country. But soon the fresh dawn heralds the morn. Once again a new day is born. From the distant mosque, the mullah raises a call to devotees to chant their praises. So now the poet is saying that, while I'm thinking about all this, it's already midnight, and then he says that now a new day has come. And then he says, very early in the morning I hear a mesmerizing voice from a mosque, where the the priest in a mosque is called as so the priest of the mosque. So he's saying that from the mosque I hear a very mesmerizing voice. And then he talks about the temple. A temple near the pujari will soon say the sacred om with the faithful who pray. The church bells joyfully carol and ring. In reverence all his followers sing. So what is the meaning of the word reverence? It means with a lot of respect. So now if you see, so we'll read the stanza. From Gurudwara imposing tributes arise to the one whose value is above all price. My India respects all who live on the earth. We honor the one who on you gave us birth. So now the poet is talking about the diversity of religion. So he's talking about Hinduism through a temple, he's talking about Islam through a mosque, he's talking about Christianity, talking about a church, and then Sikhism, Gurudwara. So he's saying that all the religions, they what is it that all the religions are denoting? All the religions are saying, or the message that all any religion that is there in our country, there's only a single message, that is to always have respect for each other. And also he's appreciating the devotees of all the religions. Then he says, humbly I add my plea to the Lord above. So again, poet is being very secular here. He's not talking about one religion. He's saying, for me all religion are one only. And so he offers prayer to the Lord. So, what is the prayer that the poet is offering? He says, to shower my land with his infinite love, unlimited. Infinite means unlimited. Give us, O Master, your grace divine, that may no longer yearn or that we may no longer yearn or pine. So the poet is saying that he's praying to God that our country should be full of abundance, uh, prosperity, that we don't have to yearn, we don't have to really ask for something, we don't have to pine, we don't have to feel sad because something is lacking in our country. So the poet says that I really pray God that my country has abundant prosperity. And then he goes on to say, for peace and prosperity for country of ours, for comfort and happiness to fill our bowls, to each give enough according to his need, to each give your wisdom, for this we plead. So this is the specific prayer. So talking about peace in our country, he's talking about prosperity. He's saying that whatever one deserves, he or she should get that. And wisdom, all the people of India should have wisdom. That are so this now there's an elaboration to his prayers. He says that our granaries may be replete, that is, they should be filled with what? Grain in plenty. So the poet doesn't want anyone to sleep with an empty stomach. And then he says that in shelter and covering and knowledge we are wealthy. So the poet is saying that if you talk about knowledge, we are very wealthy, but I want the people of India to also have sufficient food to eat. Teach us, O Lord, like brothers to live, your tolerance, your understanding each other to give. So he's saying that you give us the wisdom to live peacefully, to respect each other, so that there is absolute harmony in the country. That my vision, no more a vision may seem, but India, my India, the land of my dreams. So now the poet here is saying that I do not want that anyone in my country should fight with each other. In fact, everyone should live with peace and harmony, and people should have an abundant. And most importantly, we know that we are very wealthy in terms of knowledge, but every person or every citizen of India should have basic necessities being fulfilled. Now see, there's so much that our country has, and still we have a habit of comparing ourselves with other nations. So, oh, in that country these things are so nicely done, but in our country this doesn't happen. So sometimes you as an individual can make a difference. Remember, Mahatma Gandhi was an individual and he made a lot of difference. Subhash Chandra Bose, he was an individual, of course, made a lot of difference. Same with Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So as a citizen, reflect upon it, think about it, that how you are contributing to your country. Even by keeping your country clean, even by you ensuring that at least you do not loiter around, you can really bring in a change and make your country a beautiful place to live. I hope all of you enjoyed reading this poem. Thank you so much.